we can be able to track the children as they go through the system and even inform ourselves as to whether or not our formal justice system is working for the juveniles. So this is something that is welcome. It is a novel idea. The time has come, and we shall embrace each other and just work together for the benefit of the juveniles in the system.
Thank you very much, Christine, for those short remarks. The Office of the Director of Children's Services, Hilda, can maybe make some short remarks, but you have to.
On behalf of the Department of Children's Services, we are very much grateful. We work under very limited resources, whereby an office has like one computer which is to report reports among many other things. We also have a child protection information management system, so we key in all the cases that come in. So it's been really challenging managing to do reports and other work and still input the data into the system. We are very much grateful, and we look forward to learning about the JJINS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hilda, from the Children's Department here at the Sub-County of Makadara. Thank you very much. From the station here, Honorable Gadero Lewis has made remarks on the children court.
Good morning. Good morning. You see, Conrad is trying to look for me. I'm not. First of all, I want to really appreciate all of you who have come. The issue of the Juvenile Justice Management Commission system, I think those of us who attended the CCUC, that is Children Court User Committee. We have a subcommittee for the Children Court User Committee. We had one last year in June. We have had others, but I'm talking about the one that we dealt with, the issue of Juvenile Justice Commission system. There was some form of training about it, and it reached a point where we were asking ourselves, we are talking of record keeping. Already the Children's Office was saying that they are able to have a system where they keep certain records. But we're talking about diverting almost 70-80% of our cases. Because currently we are ardent believers that children do not belong to court. Let us remember that these children, no matter what they have done out there, it is because of the creation of the mess that we have as adults. So they do not really belong to courts. They belong out there to the society to handle whatever they have done, guide them in the right way. If you don't, take responsibility of these children. So there was that element of, can we simply make sure that these children do not reach us? Can they be treated as they are, just part of the community? But the challenge was, how do we go around it? We are saying we have a system. We want the chiefs to be doing something. We want the police officers to be doing something. How do we do? Do we start taking pens and papers and write? How is somebody who is in Kiambu going to trace that this boy had another issue in Makadara, and maybe he needs more than just counseling? And that is where we reached a dead on. I think with the kind of facilitation I see before us here, it's going to make a big deal. I would say like it is the next big thing in our children's department around here. And once you have the police officers incorporated there, I'm very happy that Buruburu was put in there. They have one of, it's the most reliable CPU I think we have. All the children we have having some issues, we first of all put them there. Then I see that really. And we are hoping that as the systems go, we shall incorporate all the police stations as well. And every other administrator, that is from sub-chiefs, chiefs, everybody will now be part of the system. I hope there will be some form of now better introduction and training for them, so that they know exactly what they are supposed to do. After all, whether we say it or not, matters that come to court are just very few matters. Most of these are matters get diverted back there. Parents reconcile, children come and say sorry. It's all these things that is what we are supposed to know what exactly happens back there. We have statistics, we know what is happening, and for planning purposes, and for us to know what next to do, for us to know how our society is performing, the children matters, that is what we have to help. Otherwise, I really appreciate these donations, and I am very thankful to AICS. I think we have also had other players who are trying to come into the picture. I know there's SEPA. I don't know whether they're represented here.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Yeah, we have been working very closely with SEPA in so many issues. So we are really happy, and we hope that as the time goes by, we are going to again do much bigger for our children in the long run. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gaderu, for those very insightful and brief remarks on the experience with the children court and how the other players will come in to assist. I think it's already 10 o'clock. We really need to move fast because of the court business and other issues of the day. So please, the subsequent speakers, just take a minute or two to make your remarks. As I said, there's 2 police stations benefiting from this. There's the industrial area police station and the Buruburu police station. So on behalf of the NPS, I call upon Inspector Mora to make some short remarks.
So much for this chance on behalf of my colleagues. I'm representing NPS. I'm in charge of Buruburu Children Protection Unit, and I would like to share with you what we do briefly, but not at length, because we do a lot in partnership with other stakeholders. At our unit, we accommodate children of 3 different categories. We have children who are in conflict with law, those who have been charged, who have committed criminal offences, and they are subject to court process. Some are referred to tender attestation at the unit after appearing before the court of law, and we stay with them. We also have children who have been victims of violence. It might be either physical, ranging from sexual to assault. And we also have children who have lost their way home. They may be playing and they later get lost, or they just get lost from their home state. Basically, on the matter of the children who have been victims of violence, most of the time we are the first contact of every victim, and whenever they come to report at the station, at the report office, normally the reports are not taken, their reports are not taken at the counter. They are normally referred to our unit, where we take time and we take space, a private room. We have rooms in the unit. We take their report, and they are referred to for medication. At some point, we are required, as per the new law of the police, we are supposed to accompany the victim to the hospital facility. But due to numbers, we are not allowed. We are not able to meet the demand. Like for now, since the COVID-19 started, the crime of gender-based violence involving children is on a very high rate. Translating, we cannot meet the demand, but what we do, we partnership with other partners, that's MSF, whom we call anytime we get a victim of violence, or a survivor for that matter. They come in, they take the victim to the facility. Then after treatment, they return that victim to the unit, where we record the statements in a private room for every victim, likewise to the witnesses. And then after the completion of the P3, which is issued at the station free of charge, we are ready to compile that file and we bring the perpetrator to the court. And sometimes we have a problem on the side. I'm sorry, I don't know whether the medics are represented. Sometimes the reports we get from the medical side does not hold that evidence to prosecute the perpetrator. How much the complainant or the witnesses may implicate that person, it becomes impossible. But what we normally do, we make our file and bring it to the DPP office for advice. And that's how we work. And we also have some shortcomings because of the materials. On the side of P3, sometimes we refer the survivors to take from the cyber because they are not readily available at the station. So that's what we basically do, and we partner with the chiefs, the children officers, whenever the survivor is being abused by the either guardian or parent, or where she lives, that for that matter, for placement at a place of safety. Thank you. And that's what I can do.
Thank you very much, Inspector Moran, for that brief background on how the police works with other child justice sector agencies in the pursuit of child justice. So maybe I had a colleague from Parks, Probation. 1 minute.
As I said, my name is Martin Juvena from Probation Department of Ghana. And for those who do not know how we also work on matters pertaining to children, as I said, where matters are referred to us by the courts. We do the inquiries like invokes interviewing the children, the child, their parents, the community, and also we see the best for the child and we connect with the court. Let me appreciate what is happening today, because it's going to assist in bringing justice to the children, as I said, children are not meant for them. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I think we are moving well. Please, we've covered most of the partners, and I assure you we are almost done, and then we hand over the equipment. So I'll request Senior Chief Nahashon Opio to come and speak on behalf of the chiefs.
Thank you very much. I'll not explain much what we have been doing. It's so much enormous. But first and foremost, I thank these organizers because they're going to make our work easy. With these gadgets, we are sure that we are going to maintain very good records. Because previously we were working, but we cannot account for what was working for. These gadgets are also going to help us improve in service deliveries, especially communication concerning the children, and also tracking the cases. Well, we have been doing a lot, starting from sensitization of parents and members of the public on the Children's Act, especially the 5 basic needs. That has actually contributed to the low, maybe, cases. It's not only enforcing, but sensitization has really helped. So, on behalf of the entire administration, let me take this opportunity to thank you, and we promise you that we will not just speak, but what we'll be doing will bear us witness. We'll judge us from the records that we will be getting. I'm also requesting that you'll also be assisting us in tracing of cases, because we have a lot, we've been doing a lot, but it reaches a point because of maybe we have been working very well with especially the police. They have been helping us. Cases of criminal nature, I can say that they have been really helping us. And with these gadgets, we'll be able now to communicate them. I've recognized my boss, the representative of the SEC, madam here. The SEC of Makadara was supposed to. Let me take this opportunity to recognize her. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You didn't introduce, but yeah, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Juliana Nyaga. I am the Assistant County Commissioner 1 in Kampala County.
Okay.
On behalf of the DCC.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. You can come and make some remarks on behalf of the Office of the County Commissioner, please.
Thank you once more. I would like to appreciate the organization for this noble cause, and also for identifying our two chiefs, Makandara and Iwandani, in this piloting project in JJ5MS. What I would like to say is that on our side, we've been having quite a number of cases, especially in the two locations, the children, and we've really been having challenges, especially whereby some of those cases have not been able to obtain justice due to financial constraints, and in other cases, lack of information and all sorts of issues. So I would say that with this project, it will help to fast track the justice for children, and I would say that you partnering with us, this is really good, and the equipment you're going to give to our chiefs will be able to help to get the records, and those records will help to fast track the justice for those kids. So we promise that we'll partner with you and continue working with you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much for those short remarks. I think we are almost coming to an end, and at this point, as you heard, we are the court users committee. At the national level, we have the special working committee of the NCAJ on court users, and we are privileged to have the chair here, the Honorable Abdul Kadir Lorot, who's the chair of that committee. So maybe we'll invite Honorable Lorot to make some few remarks, and that I think will mark the end of the CUC's section. Then later we'll invite Mr. Munyunyi to make remarks on behalf of the development partners as well as the AICS who have facilitated this for us. We have the short handover ceremony, and then we'll have the final remarks from Honorable Ominde before we depart. So I'll request Honorable Lorot to make a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone, once again. Madam Commissioner and your team from Makadara CUC. and the development partners present, Daktari, who is also the executive director of NCAJ. We at the NCAJ the NCAJ is a national body which incorporates all our leaders. It is chaired by the Chief Justice, and in it we also have all our leaders like the Director of Public Prosecution, the Attorney General, and they meet on occasions. Your directors, Children's Service, the probation, that we have prison and everyone else. So below it we have what is called the Technical Committee, which is the one chaired by Daktari, and there we have also special working groups that deal with specific aspects which need coordination for purposes of bringing the agencies together. The reason why we do the coordination is so that a long time back we always used to point fingers. You're not doing this, you're not doing this, because the justice was assumed to be only a problem of the judiciary. And then the judiciary used to take a lot of flack for the problems of many others. Our operating clarion call in the special working group on court user community is that we are all chain linked and we are as weak as our weakest link. So we always try to bring everyone on board and everyone at par so that we're able to deliver services. So at the national level, we are very happy to come to this event. This being a pilot, and it is not by chance that we have selected Makadara for this. And I'm sure it's because this is one of the most well organized coaches. Thank you, the chairs, the chair, and then the chair also. Thank you very much for this, and also because of the nature of the cases that come along here. So we will value the implementation of this particular pilot greatly. This will also inform how others work elsewhere, because from this experience that we will learn from here, which is what will help us to develop all other court users communities, specifically of the juvenile justice. And I just want to inform you that juvenile justice does not just extend to victims and children in need of care and protection, but also even witnesses. You may find in your circumstances that you have a child who is a witness of a violent crime or organized crime, and therefore the child becomes in danger. We have agencies that are responsible for protecting those children. Of course, there is also the civil aspect of children and children justice, about how they're taken care of. But specifically here, our focus will be on the criminal justice for the juveniles. And we are very happy to be here. The manager, it also informs us, help us. The manager is here, Madam Sylvia Yantet, who is very responsible for also dispersing of funds which we receive from other agencies and also from the main allocation to the NCAJ. So we're very happy and privileged to be here, and this is one of the best CUCs, especially from this particular aspect, and we want to copy and then test possibly, depending on the circumstances out there, how this develops. So thank you very much for being a very united and gel CUC, and we want to get your experiences so we can push forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Roth, for speaking on behalf of the CUC committee at the NCAJ. So I would like to welcome Mr. Munyunyi to make remarks on behalf of the partners and the AICS that have brought this contribution, and then thereafter we'll have a short handover ceremony and then final remarks from Honorable Ominde, and then we can depart. So welcome, Mr. Munyunyi.
Thank you, Daktari. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner Ominde, and thank you all for making time to be here. I need to mention that this is a journey that began about 4 years back. I sit in the Special Task Force on Children Matters that is chaired by Judge Coleman. And perhaps I also need to mention, she said she sent apologies that she's not able to be here. And in the task force, when we began in 2016, one of the areas that we needed to be able to provide data is what is the status of children in the justice system. Actually, that is the overall report that was launched last year in December, in November the 20th. I sat in the task force and co-chaired with my brother, Dr. Osewe, from the judiciary, this component on data and assessing the quality of service delivery. And one of the very difficult questions we had was difficult to answer right from the beginning was how many children today are in the system. And this should look at all the 7 agencies that are involved. So we've always known from, I think a report was launched last year that said 90% of cases that involve children are handled in the informal justice system mechanism. But where's the data? So this really emphasizes why the chiefs become very critical. And we know how a lot of cases will begin with the chiefs, with the police, with the Department for Children's Services. So we are looking at these 3 agencies as the main intake, but then we want to make it very easy that when you sit here as a magistrate, you should be able to know how many cases am I expecting, you know, depending on how the system reads for you. So it should be on a click of a button. So that's why we're extending a system that will allow case tracking, so that the moment the case has been handled by the chief, the judiciary will know, the office of the prosecutor will know, and even the probation and prisons will be able to know there are these kind of cases that are being handled at a click of a mouse. The other very important thing that we should be able to answer as a country is the case of recidivism. How many children are in the system that keep coming back in the system? Because that will tell us either our intervention is not appropriate, or you know, we need to learn something else to do to support those children. So that should be something that this system will be able to help us answer. Very important also is the case of how much resources do we need to put to support the system. You know how it is with public financing and budgeting. You need data. I think someone said, if you can't count it, then perhaps it doesn't count. So where are your numbers? And that is going to be very critical as the judiciary and the partners in the juvenile justice system work together to ensure that there is increased in service. So that is why, as we put in this banner, this is really the bottom line in the system we are bringing. So it's not so much this is really a small part of it. What we are launching today is a web-based application that has been developed by Kenyans. I want to say this has not been done somewhere, and it will be hosted by NCAJ. In it also, why we are giving these tablets to the chiefs is because it has an Android platform. So we know the chief is always moving around. He may not sit somewhere and come back and enter data. So we need to allow the chief, any case he receives of a child, he just puts in the data there, and within the same day, at NCAJ office or the Chief Justice office, is able to know how many cases were handled by the chiefs today. That is the kind of move that we want to make. And I must say, having done a bit of work at the task force in research, I don't think there are many other countries that have this. I will dare say I think we'll really be the first. About a year ago, I was in the US, and I spent quite some time with the Arizona State Department, and especially the one in charge of children, and the judiciary and the justice, juvenile justice, and they did not have this system. So there's a lot of learning that a lot of people will be looking up to Makadara to be the ones to go and share. How do we do this? How do we manage cases in a real time? So really, this is why we are here to launch the platform. Because of time, we may not be able to log in right now, but the login again is limited to those with passwords. So I'm sure my colleague William will be contacting, and has already contacted some of you. You have a special password because we have to restrict the access to that data, and it will be largely hosted by NCAJ. So in terms of the next steps towards this, rolling out the pilot, we want to learn very fast, because children matters can't wait for too long. So in the next 3 months, we should be having enough data and enough experience to be able to now call the entire council, the NCAJ council, and then present to them, this is how the system works, this is what it costs to run it. And so while we are giving out airtime also, some bundles for the next 3 months for the officers who will be accessing this database, we want to be able to say how much does it cost, and we put it in the public financing budget. So after that, then we'll come back and call all stakeholders and be able to propose how do we scale this up. In fact, our initial intention was that we were to do this in 3 CUCs, Kibera and Milimani too. But because of resource constraint, we said we start here, and like you said, for good reasons. This is one of the courts that I think has been shown to be willing to do innovation. I know I've worked with Honorable Kibosia at matters of art therapy. you know, really going beyond the usual. So we really look forward to this as being one of those. Allow me to finalize by just appreciating the support from our partners. This funding has come from the Italian Agency for International Development through the Tree of Life, through CEFA, and of course there's been contribution from different partners in there. And sorry? Okay. Yeah. So it's really a huge partnership, and we're going to continue doing this for longer. We'll be available to do support supervision within this week. We'll communicate when we can do an online training. You can't be doing digital work and we have to call you for a physical training. You've got to move really online. And then William and a few of the colleagues, including the person who developed the system, will be available to continue supporting you on how you use it and call you back for monthly review meetings. So Honorable Commissioner, I know I'll be a bit more of a frequent visitor in the next 3 months as I update you and the team on how this system is going. Otherwise, thank you very much. Congratulations for being the ones to launch this pilot, and we look forward to a lot of learning from you. Thank you, Dr. for the support.
Thank you very much, Mr. Munyinyi, for those remarks on behalf of the AICS and the development partners, and we continue appreciating that support. So I said we'll hand over the document, but I think we'll have the key remarks from Honorable Commissioner Minde, and then we do the handover, because I think that will involve some movement. Then we finish this short ceremony. So therefore, I welcome Honorable Commissioner and the key remarks.
Thank you very much, Conrad, and to all colleagues from the judiciary, our colleagues from the other government departments who are members of our CUC, AICS, the development partners that are here, and Total News. I've come to learn you're called Total News. Thank you very much. I recognize all of you. Once again, I welcome you, and I appreciate all the work that each and every one of us does in their individual capacity as either public officers or state officers, and also jointly as Makadara Court Users Committee for our stakeholders who are the children. I want to say on behalf of all of us at Makadara that we are truly honored and privileged that you have chosen us to pilot the Juvenile Justice Information Management System together with our other partners in the Court Users Committee. In this regard, therefore, let me first of all commend my colleagues who handle the juvenile cases on behalf of our courts, and who also then chair and steer our Children's Court Users Committee. And let me report that Honorable Lady Justice Martha Kome, who was the chair of the task force on children's matters, called me, and she told me that you cannot have they cannot have the task force on children without someone from Makadara, simply because we really cover a very wide area, a very dense area, an area that is very challenging in terms of matters children, whether it is in contact with the law, or whether it is children who need care and protection. And if also you were to look at our database, it's a very challenging area, particularly with regard to cases of defilement. Of course, those are sexual offenses related to children, and also cases of incest. And so therefore, Makadara then is a place where we have a lot of experience which we can share to help us develop a coherent juvenile justice system to help our children really. And so therefore I asked Honorable Kibosia to represent us in the task force, and the report I got is she did a good job. I'm happy that Mr. Munyini is also confirming that they had very good representation from Makadara. Thank you very much that we sent you someone who was able to share experiences that were able to shape the documentation that you produced to guide the judiciary on how to handle juvenile justice. Jackie, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Let me also appreciate the National Council on Administration of Justice for just being active and ensuring particularly that matters CUC are given the importance that they deserve in the policy governing justice in the judiciary, because under CUC, let me report that all the courts get an annual allocation, and all the courts are mandated to ensure that they have at least 4 court users committees a year. And our gentleman from our performance directorate is here. He will report to you that all courts are actually marked on whether or not they have ensured that they have held quarterly CUCs, they have submitted their minutes, submitted their reports, and I can assure you that courts have gone to great lengths to ensure that they bring in all the justice system agencies to work together for the good of the people of Kenya. So thank you very much, NCAJ, for that. Madame Sylvia is new in the CUC. We recruited her the other day, but I must report that the fact that we work together as all the agencies in the justice system is critical. I know Sylvia worked with LRF, and because I had told you earlier that our secretary, we have joint secretaries, Madam Linda, the court administrator, and Mr. Otieno Fred from LRF. And we are very active. It was, of course, apparent when we were interviewing for the court users manager, because Sylvia, being at LRF, you could see that she's not a court person, but she had what it takes to understand and appreciate what the court users do. And in that regard, therefore, I just want to say that what we are doing as court users in just getting together, discussing our challenges, sharing the information that we have, because as courts we appreciate, like Honorable Orota said, that we cannot be everywhere at once, isn't it? And then also as judicial officers, we are supposed to be very neutral, impartial, objective arbiters. But we realize that the information and the knowledge that we have is not readily available to other persons who also deal with matters that eventually end up in court. And so we say, freely have we been given, freely must we also share. So when we sit in the court users committee, if, for example, our chief has a problem, tells us I deal with children, we say the ABCs. If it's a defilement, make sure you preserve the evidence, take the child immediately to hospital, let the child be tested before they are cleaned or bathed, or then you can hand them over. You see, that has really preserved very critical evidence for the court, which if we were not able to sit with the chief as a court, he would not have known, isn't it? So we appreciate you all.
And we appreciate the court users committee's management in just getting us together, giving us the funding to enable us to share that which we have, to get the challenges that our other colleagues in the justice system have, to put our heads together and see what we can do in the immediate and what we cannot send over to the National Council. And I believe that is why we are here today. Because we have been sharing and saying, these are our challenges. Madam from police was saying, we may not have documentation. I mean, a way of keeping the necessary documents, we lose them because we don't have this, we don't have that. And so NCAJ had, and they have come to help us save the necessary data that will then help the court hear and determine children's cases in a manner that is professional, where every evidence that you need is with you, so that the only thing you can say is, Madam Nanjala here did not prosecute the case properly, but not for want of evidence. I think this is also very timely and very critical, and particularly when you're saying that the chiefs will have the tablets with them so that they enter the record as it happens. At this juncture, may I report that the judiciary has taken steps to try and do what it can to professionalize alternative justice methods of dispute resolution. And I know that under Honorable Justice Joel Bugi, we are visiting regions. When we go to northeastern Kenya, we want to understand their system of what's called maslaha. How do you do it? So that we also guide what offenses can you handle under maslaha, what can you not handle under maslaha, so that at the end of the day, in whatever you do, you ensure there's justice for the victim as well as the perpetrator. They are also going to, Isiolo to see what different systems of alternative justice mechanisms exist and guide them on what they can do and what they can't do, and also find a way of ensuring that we document every work that they do, and ultimately we are hoping that we'll be able to link them to the main justice chain, so that when we are reporting on dispute resolution, we are not just talking about what has happened in the courts. We are talking about what has also happened under the mandate given to us under Article 159. And so when you say that the chiefs have the tablets, you see, when they enter whatever information they get and the circumstances under which they happen, it is very easy for us to guide. Also together with DPP, this is a child who should be diverted this way. This is a child who you can sit as a chief and see if that dispute can be resolved there. This is a case that then must come to court, and then we are able to flag, right? It's also very timely, of course, at this point in time, because ultimately we will go virtual. For those of you who are in the know, the Chief Justice is launching a virtual, e-filing system for the courts on Wednesday, and eventually we hope we can go virtual. Everybody here has said that children don't belong to court. And if we are all reading from the same page, if we all have the necessary, now since we went virtual, I've also become very intelligent. I know there's hardware. then there's software, then there's... So if all of us, the courts have the computers, the children's office have the computers, the chiefs have them, probation have them, Buruburu police have them. In fact, I've visited the place, it's very, very well done. I would ask NCAJ to visit Buruburu if you haven't. Very well organized, very well done. So if all of us, first of all, have the hardware, then through this pilot, it is my hope that we don't just use them to keep the data. It is my hope that eventually, through trial and error, as we try to connect with the children's department, with the chiefs, with probation, with YCTC, unfortunately they are not here, that's where we remand children, we are able to pick up the challenges and use those challenges to inform the software, you get the point, that then we can use to have virtual hearings in children's cases, right? So that in everything that we do, whether it is a child in need of care and protection, whether it is a child who's in contact with the law, whether it is a child who is a witness in a defilement case, we are able to direct, let the children not come to court. In fact, when we were having our CUC, we were told that children should not come to court at all during this COVID. And if they come, their exposure to the court should be at most 15 minutes. And we discussed at length. And we told ourselves that we do not then need to risk the lives of the children. And we said, let us go by the ear. Let us hear when the schools will open. And if the CS Magoha says it's September, then it means the government is now sure that it is safe to let the children out. We can also fix our cases for September. But during this time, that's why I'm saying this is very timely, we also discussed that in the interim period, let us discuss how we can divert the children from the courts. But you see, with this equipment, that is linking not just the courts, but the other users in the juvenile justice system, we have the time to start playing around with the data that we have. We have the time to make mistakes, isn't it? Because we have July, we have August, so that by the time we are opening ourselves to bringing the children to court in September, we can say, no, just a minute, they don't have to come, you know. Let them go to Buruburu or the chief, or we shall hear them from there. Because as rudimentary as the system may be, this has enabled us to put something in place to ensure that permanently we are able to keep the children out of court. So it is my hope, therefore, that we just don't use it to keep the data on children, but that we will go beyond that and see how, now that we have the hardware, we can work on the software to ensure that in the near future, cases involving children are not brought to court. Because particularly we've been told COVID is here with us to stay. When we were thinking about what to do with the children, we realized that from home, first of all, they are traumatized by what is happening. Those of us who have children at home, you know the children are traumatized. So just getting them out of the house into a crowded matatu, into a crowded court, it's not in the best interest of the children. So it is my prayer that all of us together during this period with Makadara as a pilot, we are able, we are willing, we are ready to share whatever information and expertise we have with you and with NCAJ to see how best we can help to keep our children out of court. And lastly, for me, it is very critical at this point in time that we are dealing with matters children. It was a very sad day for all of us when the data on child pregnancies were released. Or were any of us happy when we saw the data? It was a very, very, very sad day for anyone who cares for the best interest of the child. And so just for us to sit here as a justice system to show that we care for the welfare of the child sufficiently to put their needs and issues forward, to do what we can during this period to ensure that even if they are in contact with or they are children in need of care, we do as much as we can to keep them safely away from the justice system, where then they would mingle with very hardcore criminals, which then might color their view of life or whatever it is. I think it's very critical that this has come at a moment when, as a nation, we are grappling with the issue of our children in terms of just their sexuality, in terms of what this COVID has done to keep our children safe or not safe, whatever the outcome will be. So I welcome this initiative. We really appreciate AICS and our other development partners. We appreciate the National Council on Administration of Justice at the policy level that has made this possible. We appreciate you, court users, because if you didn't come, if you didn't participate, if you didn't give your views, if you didn't shy away from sharing the challenges that you have, we would not have known at the policy level what interventions we need to put in place to see that all of us work together seamlessly, or as seamlessly as possible, for the best interest of the children. So I appreciate you all. Mr. Busire, thank you very much, together with AICS, Honorable Rorot, for choosing Makadara. My colleagues are here. I know that they will join me in doing the best that we can, putting our best foot forward to ensure that at the end of the pilot period, whatever you get from us will immediately be rolled out to all the other courts without any further amendments, because we will have put our hearts in it, we'll have put our intellect in it, we'll have put our energy in it to make sure that the end product is good. So that is all from me. Just to thank you again, relay our gratitude to the National Council, to AICS, Honorable Rorot also, we thank you. And let us wish each other well in this project, and of course generally as we deal with the issue of COVID. So thank you all, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner Minde, for those words. Very insightful, and most importantly for the commitment from the Makadara COC that these donations and efforts will not be in vain, and that it will be a smooth transition beyond this pilot phase. So thank you very much for those words, and I think we've reached the end of remarks and speeches on this occasion, and maybe we can just move on to the handover of the equipment. And to do this, our communications people, we can stand here, or you want them to?
Yeah, around this area.
Around this table?
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, I will call upon a representative of the police, maybe Inspector Mora, the representative from the Office of the County Commissioner. Please come here. Honorable Commissioner Ominde. Maybe our next place. And the partners who have worked with AICS, please, representatives come and here. Honorable Lorot, please join the group. So please ensure you social distance. This is going to the medium. And maybe we can have the big computer there. You can put it on the table. So we will need to hand it over symbolically.
What you can do, let us just do one. For everything that is going to if it's a desk copier, blah, this, to one, right? Thereafter, you'll allow me to have Honorable Nyaga proceed with the rest. I have to now.
Yes. So I think we just, Honorable Commissioner, we just have the handover.
Yes.
To you. Put it there for, So this is the photo moment.
So then we have everything around here.
Yeah.
You'll just tell me what is what.
Yeah, so
that we have an idea of what is going to each.
Yes. I need to add that there are going to be workstations. That is a desk that they're out there. That are going to the police station. So each police station, the two of them are receiving 2 desktops and a workstation and a power backup, a printer. So we understood printing is also a challenge. And
You can now put everything at the table.
Yes, and then they'll get this is called what, a USB data. And this will also provide the subscription for the month for that period. We are doing two for the police station because we know there's digitizing of the OB.
Yes. And
the OB numbers have to be concurrent, they have to flow through. So that will be done also throughout. Wow. Then for the 2 chiefs in Karioko, and
let me start with the police station.
Yes.
Madam Mora, come here. So, Madam Mora, your desktop is outside. You have 2, your working station is outside there. You have 2 desktops.
They have the whole about 7 rings.
7 rings of paper. You have a battery backup.
Yes.
You have a printer.
And they have the internet.
You have the internet modem. And kuna airtime here. And what else?
The computers are new according to government specification with the office package.
With an office package.
And an extension cable.
And an extension cable. So Mora yote ni yako, jameni makofi. Thank you very much. Then we have the chip.
So the chips have a one package off in the tablet because they're very mobile. So that gives them everything. But they will also have access to internet.
So what is in here? Just mention the package.
As a tablet.
This is a tablet.
And then they'll also get data bundles. They'll get data bundles.
Madam, data bundles for you also. What else? Just that.
That's it. Because it's a very mobile station.
Where is Senior Chief? Stand next to Madam here.
Here. Here. And Mulinga.
Yes. So this is for you. I think we are allowed to shake hands for this one, then we start. Yeah, Madam. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Honorable Commissioner, I need to add that these are insured for at least 1 year period, and they will have access to the people who provided award and support. So that is going to be provided.
Thank you very much.
So once we are done, then of course there will be the paperwork. So that, but these will be assets that will be owned by the agency. So they need to go into your records as assets provided to the one to the police, and NCJ will keep a copy so that then we're able just to follow through.
Thank you very much. Yes. Children? I think children is key.
Children are here. There was a process of doing an initial assessment. So, like we know, UNICEF has supported partially. I know it's not enough, but of course, as we're going on with the pilot, we'll see how more resources come in actually. And let it be on camera that we know you have CPMS, but CPMS is not real time. So this will help you going forward. Any data that we'll be putting in, you don't have to come back and keep for that one.
Thank you very much.
We'll finish that. Okay.
I think please let us clap for AICS and our partners, and also to NCAJ for ensuring this is possible. Honorable Laurent and his team, we are very, very grateful on behalf of all our partners in the Coach Users Committee of Makadara. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Maybe we can end with a word of prayer.
Yes, and now maybe we can be gender balanced.
Yes.
And we do acknowledge that the chiefs and the police do